Yeah, Dad set up Southern Cross Films when he was a projectionist at the Mayfair Theaterette, which was in Hay Street. He did this for about 12 months. The pictures were shot by Dad. They were sent across to Herschel's labs in Melbourne, I believe. They would write a script and somebody in Melbourne would record the narration and it would be married together, and then the print would come back a week or so later and then it would be screened in the cinema, and the Theaterette. There was all sorts of things. The opening day of the Royal Show, and there was regattas in Crawley, and the Governor-General opening, this, that, and the other. Relevant stuff for Western Australia. And for 12 months it was the first and the only local newsreel for cinemas.
What year would that have been?
From memory, I think it was in the late 50s. I think it was the late 50s. I can't be sure about that. It was definitely before television, probably in the early 50s, mid-50s. I was originally working in a shoe shop in town, actually, and Dad said, no, I can get something out for you at the West. And Dad was a great mate of Doug Burton, who was the chief photographer at the West. And so miraculously, I got myself as an apprentice, cadet, if you like, photographer in the WA newspaper's photographic section, which meant processing and printing all the photographs, and especially Country Week hockey, where you'd have 50,000 team members all wanting copies, and so I did that for a year, and that was a great background in sort of control of contrast and brightness and so forth of the photographic image. And in the early '59, it was announced that television would be introduced in Western Australia, and WA Newspapers was the company to submit the application for the licence. And then they're calling for staff. And I was asked by Tom Hall, I think it was, Tom and Dig Milner. They were the first, they were two cameramen from the West, photographers from the West, and they went across and started studying motion picture stuff. And I was asked by, I think, Tom, if I knew of anybody in the West who'd be willing to come across as a cadet photographer. And I thought, yeah, me. I thought, why not? So myself and Lou Belsey, who was in the library, the photographic library at the West, we were both the first cadets, and we joined, I think from memory, the beginning of August '59. And of course it opened in October in '59. So we were there right from the very beginning. It was a great time.
Did you ever process the 100-foot movie rolls, which were originally processed at the back of the photographic section? Right.
Oh no, I'd seen it working. I'd seen how they did that. That was remarkable. They jerry-built a rack, a processing rack, and they wrapped in darkness, of course, 100-foot film round 2 bicycle wheels with struts around it, and something on support so they could rotate this through a bath of developer. And it worked fine. It was fantastic. And then they'd take the developer away and they'd put the fixer in there and whatever. So that's how they did. And they actually put newsreels together before the official date as test transmissions, hand processed in the photographic department at the West.
The borehole boy? The kid that got stuck down the drain?
Oh yes, oh yeah. That was an amazing drama. All troops were sent out to do this. The borehole kid and the rescue, the wonderful rescue. It was a good story.
At Mandurah, a grim and painstaking operation to try to rescue 2.5-year-old Graham Davies. The boy is trapped 25 feet below the surface in a small 18-inch borehole.
What about the Pro 600?
Oh God!
Did you cut your teeth on the Pro?
Yes, I did. I cut my teeth on the Pro 600. The Pro 600 was a beast, an absolute beast that was brought in. It was going to be the best thing, and it was the ability to record both sound and vision at the same time. It was hugely heavy. The tripod they bought for it was the biggest studio Miller tripod that you could possibly imagine. And there's one apocryphal story where the news editor, who will remain unnamed, said to one of the cameramen that he wanted a coverage of the Australian Golf Championship at Karrinyup. And this cameraman, and this is a true story, took this Pro 600 camera, tripod and the sound box over the last 2 holes of Karrinyup by himself, no assistant, and just about killed him. But he had it there, and it was 70, 80, 90 pounds in weight. It was just hugely heavy. It was a Pro 600 made by Cinema Products in America, and they subsequently used the Auricon movement of film transport through the camera, and it was the best one ever. The film was set on going through the gate on a series of ball bearings, so it would be absolutely perfectly smooth, would never have any build-up of emulsion. It was a system that was used a long time, right through the development of the Pro 600, the Cinema Products CP16, and until the advent of video.
Do you have anything to do with using it for the opening of the Narrows Bridge?
Yes. No, well, I didn't. I think Tom and Dig were there for the Narrows Bridge. I was running around with a little Bell & Howell 70DR as getting cutaways. That was an exciting time. There were several which were important sort of milestones in Perth at the time.